It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hello, you're watching the Eagle Community Television Forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week, and our guest this week is Clayton Capra. He's a Fort Hays State University music student. Thank you for coming in and joining us today. And we want to talk to you a little bit about music, but you're an opera student, or you're focusing a lot on opera. We'll talk about how did you ever become involved or decide that you wanted to get involved in opera? Because it's nothing you typically would hear on the radio every day.
Well, it really started when I first came to college. I started studying under Dr. Pernicero, who's my voice teacher, and he really kind of got me hooked on classical singing and just in general the whole spectrum of classical music and classical voice music in particular. And as I kind of progressed through the years, I got the bug for opera more and more, and so I really started focusing on arias and art song, and really started focusing on a bunch of foreign language, and it's been fun and a journey, I guess, to where I'm at now.
Well, you don't see a lot of opera around here. Have you gone to watch some, or do you watch them like on YouTube or something, or on the internet?
Yeah, quite a bit of what I do, just given the location, it's kind of hard to get to opera houses all the time, but yes, I try to listen to as much as I can on the radio or on Spotify. And just like you said, YouTube, and just keep up with it and see what's happening, especially with the Met and different performances all throughout Europe and stuff. So,
well, you know, looking back now, you've been a student now. You're junior year now at Fort Hays State University. Looking back on this, so what is the one that kind of changed your mind? I mean, that kind of triggered it, and you go, oh, I love that opera, and that's the one that is kind of your favorite that you always go back to and you love to watch.
Well, I'd have to say it changes, I guess, throughout. Most recently, we just did a production of Handel's Julius Caesar, and that was really a lot of fun. It was a Baroque opera, which sounds rather dry, but it was actually pretty fun to get into the history of it and to learn about that style of music, so that was one that I particularly enjoy. Other than that, I'd say I like composers more than I like specific operas and kind of genres. I love patter songs, and especially in French, there are quite a few French arias that are rapid enunciation songs, and I love those.
Wasn't Mozart one of the opera? Didn't he do some opera too?
Yes,
so
he did.
You probably have some love for that too.
Yeah, the Magic Flute, Marriage of Figaro. Yes, so
now you're getting into operas. You love these operas, and all of a sudden it's kind of taking over your life a little bit. Do you write reports and stuff about that in your other departments, and kind of, because in the education world, it may be your field of study, but you kind of bring all of your classes. You kind of start weaving them all into one. And so what I'm trying to get out here is in the let's say English department, you're writing some comp classes or comp papers. You're writing about that too.
Yeah, I think it is interesting that it's very much a collaborative process in any art form, I think, and so it's interesting also how it can carry over into different classes, or how you can do reports about a subject that you might not necessarily think about as being worthy of a paper, but it grows into that out of kind of your background and the different stuff you study in other areas.
When you do opera, though, opera is a little bit different because it's more theatrical. You get into the clothing and to the characters and all of that stuff too a lot more.
I think so. I enjoy opera because it is such a production, I think, and it involves many creative people coming together for a common purpose and to convey something about life in general.
And sometimes when you're on stage, I mean, an opera can be, a couple of people up to a pretty big cast. Is that kind of what you've seen in college too? You've seen some small ones to large ones?
Yes, we just last year we did a production of a chamber opera, and in that it was only 4 people, and it's a rather short opera called A Hand of Bridge by Samuel Barber. And that was really fun and incredible, and the music is really interesting and very lively, I would say. And then comparing it to, let's say, The Elixir of Love, which we did 2 years ago, that was much more lush, I would say, and bigger, beautiful singing. And so it's interesting, I think, also just production-wise, like how smaller casts and bigger casts work and how it changes the mood, I guess, of the whole thing. But I enjoy both, honestly, in different settings.
You don't see a lot of opera around Hays or any of the small towns within western Kansas. So where do you perform? Do you perform at Fort Hays?
Yes, the Fort Hays State Music Department puts it on in the Felton Start Theater, which is in the Malloy building. It's if you've ever seen the gesture out front of the building, that's right where the theater entrance is. So. And
then you kind of go in and go to the left a little bit to that performing center, or do you just do it in Felton Start Theater?
Felton Start Theater.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
And how many do you think you do a year? I mean, operas.
Operas we do 1 a year.
Okay.
And then we do 1 musical and 1 opera and 2 plays.
And what semester do the operas typically fall in?
The operas are typically in the spring semester.
So we're kind of upon that right now, aren't we?
Yes.
When does the opera play?
It just played the 8th and the 10th.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yes.
So we've passed it a little bit.
Yes.
Well, you know what? We're going to take a quick break. And in the second half of this show here, I want to talk to you a little bit about a competition that you applied for and where you're going to go study a little bit, kind of I'd say abroad, but it's not. It's here in the United States. So you're going to have a chance to study with some people and kind of broaden your horizon a little bit in opera. So we'll talk about the second half of the show. Again, our guest is Clayton Capra. He's a Fort Hays State University music student. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week on the Forum, brought to you by Hays Med.
Hays Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hays Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout western Kansas. Hays Med, helping people be healthy.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications. Our community connected.
Welcome back to the Eagle Community Television Forum, brought to you by Hays Med. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week, and want to tell you that Gary would love to have some show ideas from you. If you've got an idea, he'd love to hear from you. It's gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. Again, this is the ECTV Forum, and today Clayton Capra is a Fort Hays music student, and he's with us today. We're talking about opera today. We're getting some, I guess, real classical information from you today. What we want to talk to you about is a performance that you've done recently. I guess you were encouraged to do a tape or a presentation and send it off to get into some national competition or something, and then I guess you're going away for the summer somewhere to study, right?
Yes.
How did this all come about?
Well, initially I was kind of looking at some different summer programs because I was interested in something to kind of supplement my education, and so I started looking into some, and my instructor pointed out this program out of Asheville in North Carolina. And he said, it's a very strong program and I should definitely consider applying. So I said, great. But at that time, I was really close to the deadline. So I kind of had to get my materials prepped and together rather quickly. But I submitted, they asked for 3 to 5 selections of art songs or arias to gauge kind of where you were at in your training. And then on top of that, a performance resume, a biography, a cover letter, just some general information, and also telling why you wanted to be a part of the program.
So a lot of work.
Yeah. And so I got everything together and sent it away, and heard back a couple weeks later that I had made it in. I was very excited about it. So I'll be going over the summer to Asheville, North Carolina, and studying under a voice professor there.
Do you stay in like a dorm or something like that when you go?
Yes, they've got housing for us there.
So you go do this and you study, and do you get college credit for doing this as well?
I'm not sure if I'm going to get college credit. That's a very good question.
We'll have to put in for some of that.
Yeah.
So you'll go to North Carolina to do this studying over the summer months, and you'll probably learn quite a bit over there, and along with some other students from probably all over the country.
Yeah, it's really exciting. There were 6 people selected out of the auditions. I couldn't tell you how many applied, but 6 were selected total for the actual program. And it's through an opera company in Asheville, the Asheville Lyric Opera Company, and it's their Young Artist program. So they do this every summer, and they do a tour of, they say Western Carolina, so I'm assuming some north, some south. And you take art songs and arias and mini performances from operas. So I'm really excited to be participating in.
Yeah, I think stuff like that is really good for students to kind of broaden their horizons a little bit and open up their networking skills as well. So they get a chance to not only perform their skill, they get to hone their skill, and they have a chance to meet people that are involved with it as well, and just as excited about it as you probably are too. So it's going to be a fun time. And you say it's what, for the whole summer? Is it like 2 months?
Yeah, it's about 2 months. It'll begin on June 3rd, and it ends, I believe, July 27th, but I just had an email correspondence the other day, and they said they might extend it another couple days even, so it'll be quite a while.
And now, when you found out about this, you probably told your parents. Were they pretty excited about the whole thing?
Yes.
And they asked about the whole experience?
Yes, they were very excited. They've been very supportive of me through all this, so.
Well, very good. Well, we look forward to you growing in your ventures over the summer months and coming back and putting on a great performance that maybe people out here watching can come watch next year when you do it over at the Felton Star Theater.
Yes, that would be great.
Well, thanks for coming in and being our guest today.
Thank you very much.
Again, our guest today is Clayton Capra from Dighton, Kansas. He's out doing operas all over the country. Well, all over North Carolina, I would say, the summer months. But he's a Fort Hays State University music student. We want to thank him for coming in today. Hayes Ahmed is our sponsor for the forum today. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman. Thanks for being with us.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.